artists and creators. It's lovely to be here again. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about how you can find your own art style. If you don't know me, my name is Ellie and I'm an art teacher living in beautiful Melbourne, Australia, where I share art tips and tutorials to get you creating. Now this video is just one way that you can approach finding your art style. There are so many different ideas and tips out there, but I just wanted to share with you what has personally worked for me and what I teach my students in hopes that it can help you as well. This process is suitable for any level of art knowledge or experience. And if you don't understand any of the terms that I discuss here today, then it might just mean going and researching online to find out what they mean. However, I will show the main ones up on the screen. So style. What is an art style? If I was going to sum this up in my own words, I believe the style refers to a combination of the art medium that you choose, the application of techniques you apply, how you arrange the art elements and principles on your page to create a composition, and your inspiration that all sums up all of the artistic decisions that you've made. Please note that it's very common, almost vital, that your art style will change over time as you evolve and develop your skill and technique as an artist. This is all part of the art journey and the learning process. So if you think about what style is, the very first thing you need to do is to think about what elements or what you're trying to get out of this. Knowing the answer to this will help you further along in the process. So jot down if you are trying to focus on some of these aspects of style more than others, and what are they? Some specific questions that you might like to ask yourself are you trying to develop your skill or technique using a particular art material or medium? Do you know the subject matter that you're drawn to creating? What inspires you art-wise? Is it other artworks by other artists? Is it memories from your childhood? Is it challenges or experiences that you are going through or that you've gone through in your life? What color palette are you interested in working with? Are you interested in bright and vibrant colors? Maybe muted or pastel colors? Or even a monochromatic color palette? Black and white? What are some techniques that you have tried previously in prior artworks? And if none, what are some that you are wishing to try out moving forward? So this could be using the wet on wet technique with watercolor paint, or you might be interested in blending Copic markers to create a smooth color gradient. So what art form and art movement sparks your interest the most? So this video specifically is targeted towards the visual arts, so painting, drawing, printmaking, photography, digital art, craft, design, and etc. So some of the art movements is contemporary art, abstract art, realism, surrealism, pop art, conceptual art, and there's so many more as well. So be aware that you don't need to know all of the answers to these questions now, and it might be something that you discover further along in this process and in your own art journey as well. So firstly, get drawing by using a graphite pencil to simply copy your favourite artwork. This is something that I had to do from the very beginning when studying art at university, and we continued it for the entire 4 years that I was there. I found that even though it was time consuming and sometimes I believed was pointless, it really does help. So download or save as many images that you can find of your favourite artworks onto your computer or phone. Ensure that they are quite different from each other and that they're from a range of different artists. You might also like to print them out. It will help if they are artworks that apply to some of the questions that you've just answered. Now try to copy the techniques of your favourite artworks. So start by using pencil to simply sketch out the composition and get used to the form, the shapes and the hand gestures that you're making to quickly draw it out. It doesn't need to look exactly the same as you are developing your style, but it's just to warm up and to get an idea. Do this for as many artworks as possible, and you can go back and forth between this step and the next ones that I explain. Then next, try this again, but this time using the art medium that sparks your interest, so it might be acrylic paint for example. If you're not sure what to try, then use what your inspirational artist is using in their artworks, and only if that's available to you, of course. Now it's time to go through the process of changing up your drawings and begin making them your own. So before doing this, take a few minutes to look over the sketches without looking at the artist's images and note down any similarities or features that stand out. So by this I mean, did you draw particular aspects of the images emphasizing certain features? For example, if you were drawing a portrait, did you notice in your drawings that you tended to unintentionally draw the face quite a bit larger than on the artwork reference? Did you emphasize particular shapes, colors, tones, or textures in a certain way? Notice every small aspect different from the artwork images. These are positive points and can be emphasized further to develop your style. Don't worry if you were just thinking that they were down to poor technique, as over time your technique will improve as you practice and develop your style. So from here, I'm using two useful tools that you can apply to your drawings in order to recreate them as your own. These are called PMI and Scamper. PMI is a critical thinking tool created by Dr. Edward de Bono, and Scamper is a creativity tool, a further developed concept by Bob Eboli. You may have heard of them if you studied art or design at high school, and it's something that I also use with my own students. I have some fill-in-the-box worksheets that I use in class, which I've linked down below if you'd like a copy and if you find these easier to use. So PMI means plus, minus, interesting. Here you want to write with small annotations next to the drawings of yours that you like the most. What aspect did you do well? What area could you take off the composition? And what is something interesting that you could explore or develop further? You may like to just put a plus, minus, and I for interesting symbol next to it, and complete this for as many as possible, then take these drawings into our next method of Scamper. Scamper means substitute, combine, adapt, modify, put to another use, eliminate, and reverse. Here is where you want to take your sketch with the PMI ideas applied, so you have a focus of what has worked well as P. You may have taken an aspect away for M, and something to explore further as I. Then you want to redraw it using this acronym. So it helps for you to write down what you will do first, and then do so to redraw. So S, to substitute, you want to think about the areas or parts of the drawing that can be substituted for something else. Now this can be anything. You might like to swap the section over with another part of the other artwork drawings that you did. It could even be the specific colours the artist used in their image, but you might want to trial a different tone or shade of the colour. So for C, what can be combined together when looking over all the drawings and sketches that you've done? Now have a go at combining subject matters or small areas of the composition to make it something new. A, now think about how you can adapt or change the drawing. These further changes might be made to existing changes that you've already made so far. Maybe you want to duplicate shapes or figures in the composition to make a pattern. Maybe you want to emphasize the eyes in your side profile of a face to give an animated or cartoonish look to your style. So M, this again is making changes to your drawing, focusing on the shape, feel or appearance. This might be highlighting particular areas or contrasting them against each other. P, this is a great one where you need to think about having a change of scenery for your subject matter. Examine and explore by writing notes or drawing small sketches that show how you can put your subject matter to another use in a different environment or scene. So take for example an artwork of a bowl of fruit. What if you took it out of the environment on the kitchen table and put it in a completely new environment, so say a cafe scene or rolling down a cobbled street after falling out of someone's shopping bag? So for E, this one's quite similar to the M in PMI. What aspects can you take away or downplay and blend into the background? Are there any parts of the subject matter that you can make smaller or underestimate as less important? So lastly, for reverse, look over everything that you've done so far, notes and drawings. Now, what would you draw or create if you were going to do the exact opposite of what you have just drawn? Think in terms of subject matter, composition, color palette that you're intending on using, media and materials, particularly techniques. What if you reversed it all? What would you draw and how would you reorganize it all? Not all of these may apply to you, your ideas, and what you've selected as your inspiration, but they are really to get you thinking, writing, and creating, to really hone in and to develop your own style. The more that goes into this, as well as writing or drawing it all down, the easier it will be to develop and understand all the aspects that play a part of your style. Finally, the last thing you want to do is start creating artworks using these new and completed modified layouts. So draw up your designs using all of the modifications that you believe are applicable to your work. This is where you really want to emphasize the unique characteristics in your drawings different from the artworks that you've copied that we talked about earlier. These characteristics might also have come through later on when you're applying the PMI or Scamper, and that's fine too. Once drawing these up, apply the planned media, whether this is what you have available to you right now or what you're interested in experimenting with or trialing. Here, try the techniques you may have written or drawn out in the Scamper process. And if it doesn't work as you hoped, that's perfectly okay. Just note it down for next time, explaining what you want to do or try differently. Lastly, it's pretty important to focus on consistently learning and improving on the techniques you are using within your style. So for you, this could mean doing some painting tutorials on YouTube. You could send a DM to your favorite artist on Instagram and ask them questions about their technique. You could study the process of artworks by famous artists online or in books. You could support other artists by paying a small fee for useful online courses. And last of all, consistently be looking at art. So Instagram has a world of art by artists with various skills, techniques, and art styles. So look, learn, and most of all, enjoy. I hope this video helped give you a solid process that you can follow to develop your art style or begin developing your art style. Yes, it does take time and commitment, but like anything in life, the more that you put into it, the more that you're going to get out of it. Please take a few seconds to support me and my channel by clicking the thumbs up button to like this video. Subscribe to my channel and jump on over to Instagram to join me over there where I'm regularly posting content, and I'd love to hear from you as well. Also, please let me know in the comments what you have found useful to develop your art style, whether it's something from this video or something else. I'd love to hear. Take care and much love, and I'll see you next time. Bye.